Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Full Belly, and today we're going to be making some chocolate chip cookies. So let's go over the ingredients that we're going to need today. So we need flour, brown sugar, white sugar, eggs, butter, vanilla extract, baking soda, chocolate chips, and salt. We are also going to need 2 baking sheets, some parchment paper, 2 mixing bowls, a hand mixer, and a spatula to scrape bowls. And we also kind of need something to mix the dry ingredients, like a whisk or a fork or something like that. Now to get started, you want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. After the oven is preheated, we still want to prepare our pans first before we get started with everything else. So go ahead and get your parchment paper out and cut it to line the pans. Okay, once you got your oven going to preheat and you got your baking pans lined with the parchment paper, now it's time to start on the cookie ingredients. So we're going to start with the dry ingredients. You want to put your 3 1/3 cup of flour into a bowl. You also want to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. At this point, what I like to do is I like to take a whisk and I like to mix it together a little bit. It kind of breaks up the flour, makes keeps the flour from being chunky, but also mixes in the baking soda and the salt really well with everything together. Once you do that, you want to set it aside. Then we're going to start on the wet ingredients. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our eggs ready. Take your egg, you want to smack it against the counter a little bit, rotate it a little bit more and smack it. You should see a line, a crack form going around the egg, and if you do it right, you should be able to just pull open the egg and you should be able to pour the egg and the egg white right into your little bowl. So do that with your first 2 eggs. After that, we want just egg yolks, just 2 egg yolks. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our egg, we're going to crack it on the counter, we're going to open it up. But instead of pouring everything into the bowl, what you want to do is you want to kind of play hot potato with the egg yolk inside the egg shell. Just move it back and forth a little bit. Once most of the egg white comes off, then you can take the egg yolk and pour it in with your other eggs. And once you do that with 2 egg yolks, you are good to go. All right, now that we have our eggs ready to go, we're going to start on our wet ingredients. So this is basically going to be the sugars to begin with. So you want your 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar to go in the bowl. You do want to make sure that the brown sugar is packed. So make sure that it's nice and packed before you put it in the bowl. Once it's in the bowl and I have it in there, I like to just loosen it up a little bit so it makes things a little bit easier a little bit later. Once you have the brown sugar done, then you want to add in your white sugar, 1 cup of white sugar. After the white sugar, you want to add in the butter. Now, if you haven't melted the butter already, and I don't see why you would because I haven't told you to, you can go ahead and melt it now. Once the butter is melted, pour it over the sugar. I like to pour it to try and spread it out a little bit. That way it kind of helps the sugar not fly everywhere once you have the hand mixer in it and going. So do that next. Grab your hand mixer, put it in there and start it running. You can put it on low if you want. You can put it on medium. I like to do it on medium to make it get a little bit more smooth. You want to do it for at least 30 seconds, but I usually do it anywhere between 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes just to make sure the the sugars and the butter are as smooth as possible. Once you have that done and it's smooth, you can start adding in your eggs. Now, as you can see, is I have all 4 of my egg yolks in one little bowl, along with the whites from the 2 eggs. Go ahead and pour the egg yolks in one at a time and continue to beat the sugars until it's smooth. Once you have the 3rd one done, stop the hand mixer, put the eggs down, put the hand mixer down, grab your vanilla, and you want to add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and then put the other egg in there and finish mixing everything up until everything is incorporated. Now you want to start adding adding your dry ingredients, the flour and stuff. So you want to drop your speed on your hand mixer down to the lowest setting, and then you want to grab your bowl and you want to add in 1/3 of your dry ingredients at a time and beat it until it is nice and incorporated together. Then add in your next third, do the same thing, add in your next third, do the same thing. And then you're almost done. Just 1-2 more steps. So we're getting towards the end here. Once your final third is done, your cookie dough is basically done at this point. But we're still missing 1 ingredient. Grab your bag of chocolate chips, open it up, and throw it in there. And then take your spatula and start mixing everything together. You want to try and make sure that the chocolate chips are spread throughout the cookie dough. Just kind of you want to make sure every single piece of cookie is going to have a nice good amount of chocolate in the middle of it, right? So that's what you want to try. Once that's done, it's time to put all this stuff on the parchment paper. So grab your cookie sheet and grab your ice cream scoop. Scoop up some cookie dough to fill up the ice cream scoop, and then put it on your cookie sheet. Now you want to do this, you want to put your cookies, about 2 inches apart. These will fluff up pretty big, so believe me, you're going to need the room. On this size cookie sheet, I can get 4 on each side and then 3 down the middle, so that's how I'm going to line this up. And I do this with the second cookie sheet as well. Once you have your cookie sheets full and everything's ready to go into the oven, your oven should be preheated by now. If it's not, you might want to get it looked at. But go ahead and put your cookie sheets in the oven. The cookies are going to bake for about 9 minutes or so. Then you want to take the pans out, rotate them, and put them back in. So the one that was on the bottom rack, you want to put it on the top rack, and you want to rotate it to where the cookies that were facing the window on the oven are now on the back side of the oven. And you want to do that with both cookie sheets. When you put the cookies back in the oven, you're going to set the timer again for another 9 minutes. Now, the normal length of time to cook the cookies, depending on things like the elevation you live at and humidity and stuff like that, should be between 17 and 20 minutes. At the place that I live, 18 minutes works wonderfully. Once the cookies are finished, you can pull them out of the oven. They are going to be a little soft. You want to let them cool down on the cookie sheet for about 5 minutes or so, and then you want to move them to a rack to let them cool down all the way. So just take a spatula and just move them one at a time over to your cooling racks. And once they cool down, that's it. You're done. The cookies are out of the oven. They cooled down. Now it's time to have one. These are soft, they're chewy, they don't crumble. And if you like it, why don't you leave this video a like?